when you pour into others, that's how you gain success. It's not necessarily monetary. It's the value of the relationships and who you take with you.
All right, well, we are back from the event, and I wanted to give us an opportunity for those that went to share your biggest ahas, your biggest notes, your biggest takeaways with the group. I've got several things here on my end, and yet, for those that may have watched some of the live streams, for those that particularly, were there in person, give like your top, several 3 to 5 takeaways from the conference. If you got your notes in front of you, awesome. If not, I'm sure it's going to come to mind here very easily and very quickly. So who wants to go first?
I can go.
Go for it.
And I don't have my notes. I had a closing this morning, so sitting in the car. But okay, there are a couple different things. You already kind of hit that, like your relationships, like life moves at the speed of your relationships. And this week was just like an aha moment to that. The people that I've met, there's some people that I've met since I've been on this journey that were there just for a season that helped me learn something. And then there's several people like yourself that are there for a reason, like a long-term reason, a relationship, and just really care and pour into people. So I think that was the big thing. Well, it wasn't like necessarily a specific tangible topic that was discussed. What is extremely evident is that the people that succeed at a high level carry others up with them. And so that was a huge thing for me. Just people, when you pour into others, that's how you gain success. It's not necessarily monetary. It's the value of the relationships and who you take with you. The other thing, not like sappy mindset related, is it kind of is mindset related. There was so much conversation around your language patterns, how you talk to people. So I'm just really excited to delve more into that. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to how the brain works, how people think in psychology, and people just really really pushed on that message. So especially that one, I think it was the second day when we had that opening message where he had us hand our cell phone to someone that was sitting next to us and talked about how fear makes you not see things clearly. And like Leo jumped on stage and they took a selfie and none of us saw that. Was just completely eye-opening to what's happening with marketing, what's happening with all the politicians, what's happening in business, what's happening for our clients. And so how do we become just more self-aware when fear is blinding us from really living life and seeing things clearly, was really eye-opening. So I think awareness is everything, right? Awareness of you can't always change the way your brain works or the way that fear holds you back, but you can become more aware of it. And the more aware you become, the less likely you are to let fear be that driving factor in your life.
Right on.
Okay, you said 3. Do I have to
I mean, whatever, go. Like, don't feel limited if you're inspired. Get it.
Oh my gosh. I think the other thing too, so like a tactical thing was AI. I really want to delve more into AI. I cannot believe some of the functionality of AI that I have not been exposed to. It's like there are people out there that are using AI almost like an assistant. So they're able to hire less people and use AI to make their life more efficient, and cost saving, time saving. So there were just so many things that I can't wait to delve into and figure out. Right now, I think my aha was we are just scratching the surface on what we know, and I can't wait to find the right people to help you guys, to bring to you guys to help kind of educate more on AI and how you can use it to grow your businesses and essentially save money on some of the resources that you're currently using.
Yeah. Right on. Brooke, what you got?
I can get myself off mute. I don't have my notes right in front of me either, but one of the big things, I went in, I was in, for one, even actually, to be honest, Matt, your thing that you did on the like, what are the rules? Like, what
The
are they called?
TCPA and the FCC
Yeah, like
guidelines.
honestly, I like never use the I never use dialers or anything like that, but I really had no idea how the laws are changing and anything. And I was a little terrified after I walked out of there. So like Michelle and I were even saying like it's kind of scary. So I think I can't go into all of them. Like you'd have to explain them to everybody. I'm assuming you're probably gonna have a class or something just on that. But
Yeah,
um
we'll definitely spend
I,
some time on that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I just bringing awareness to that and how I can like better protect myself. Um Another thing was when I went into like an investor class, I definitely learned I absolutely need to get a new CPA. So if you don't have a good CPA, make sure you get one. But it was really, he was like explaining about um, the difference between like doing like a flip versus doing like a buying and holding and using not even just like hard money, but private money. He was talking about how, I mean, I've got the slides, so it's like I took a lot of pictures of the slides that he did, but he was just saying like how one house that you invest in, how if you just sold it on average as a flip, it would be like it'd make you like $16,000. Whereas if you did like the Burr method, I mean, he did explain too, like it's harder even to buy some of these houses now and that it used to be. And this guy specifically is in the Pittsburgh market. So I guess you could still buy a house for $100,000 in Pittsburgh. You cannot buy a house really for $100,000 in my area anymore in a neighborhood that you want to be in. But yeah, I'm sure there's some. So I guess you'd have to obviously adjust that to the area that you're in. But he was explaining that just like 1 year later, if you delayed getting that $16,000 that you would make off of flipping that house, you'd actually be like $40,000 wealthier. And in 5 years, I mean, it's like about like $130,000 wealthier. And he just explained it. And he went from in 6 years, this guy now has like over $20 million in properties that he owns. And it's just insane. So really, I guess shifting like the mindset of like where where you're deciding to like invest in things and how you want to invest in stuff and investing smarter. I really liked the guy. What's Jesse's like last name?
It's
How do you say it?
Itzler, Itzler. It's
Okay, he's like the guy who's married to that Sarah Blakely
yep,
who
Sarah
owns
Blakely
Spain.
Spanx. Yep.
Yeah. And he's like the rap, like it was like some kind of rapper, right? So he do rap and
He's done a few things, but yeah, he
yeah,
started as a rapper.
yeah, and like the Nico water. So he was talking about
Coconut
how
water and
yeah,
then net jets. Yeah.
yeah, and then so one of the things that he did that really stood out to me was he was talking about that they were presenting to like Coca-Cola
Mhm.
and they did this like I guess he told them that he was like his partner was Matt Damon. So he had Matt Damon, he had been over at Matt Damon's house. And so he asked Matt Damon to go outside, cut down a coconut tree, like cut it open and give it to his daughter. So we got to find this clip. I don't know if you can do like you can share your screen after this or something, Matt. What he did, they never talk about the actual name of the like coconut water or anything like that. It was about like solving a problem for people. And I said, I started thinking about it, like how many agents just are like promoting themselves instead of trying to solve a problem for somebody and creating like advertising and stuff that, that,
So
did I hear something?
yeah, sorry, my autoplay
Oh,
was on trying to find
oh
the
no, that's okay. Fine, you got to find this clip and show it to them because I feel like it's just really it's really eye opening because if you look at it from the standpoint of you're not just want to promote yourself, you want to promote the like experience that you can give somebody and like the magic that you can make happen. So those are my standouts without looking at my notes.
Cool. If I can find the video, I'll absolutely do the video. But
Okay.
yeah, what he was talking about is, so like Jesse said that he was constantly putting himself into spots or positions that it's like, put yourself in a place where you can't lose. And one of the things that he did was, as he was getting ready to launch this private jet company, he put himself at like a conference where all of these high net worth venture capitalists and people that are like exiting companies are going to. And what he found was every morning there was a huge line getting coffee and muffins, and everybody was getting coffee and muffins. And so what he did is he got there first thing in the morning and he bought all of the muffins. And so the people that would go up there for a coffee, they'd ask for a coffee, and then they say, "Can I get a muffin?" They go, "Sorry, we're all out." And Jesse would be sitting there with like all the muffins in like a box under the table. And he's like, "Hey, I couldn't help it over here that you needed a muffin. I happen to have an extra muffin. If you'd like, come sit down." And then he's like, "What do you do?" And then this like, yeah, they're like, "Hey, I'm this tech company, etc. What do you do?" "Well, I'm launching a fractional jet company, and blah blah blah." And they're like, "Wow, that's so weird. I'm actually like getting ready to start looking for jet stuff." And he's like, "It cost me, a couple $100 for these muffins, but it was the fastest and easiest way to have these sit downs with these billionaires that were going through this conference." And so like that was one example, right? Like to just get in front of the right people at the right time with the right stuff, and being scared, doing it anyway, and just having like an unwavering belief that you're just going to figure it out and get it done, especially if you care enough about the problem that needs to be solved. The conversation around Matt Damon and the coconut water was pretty outstanding. And then he's like, and he posted the video, and it's a neat video. Like it was well produced. Like Jesse came over to Matt's house with the camera crew, and he's like, "Here's what we're going to do it like this, and we're going to make it really, really good." And Matt Damon then calls out the CEO of Coca-Cola in the video, and he looks over and he goes, "There's got to be a better way." And then that was the tagline. Like he goes out to the yard with a baseball bat, hits the coconut tree, it drops, goes inside with a hatchet and a machete in his kitchen, opening, then puts a straw and hands it to his daughter, and he turns to the camera, calls out the CEO by name, and says, "There's got to be a better way." And then that was it, the end of the commercial. And then the name of the coconut water company comes across. And the CEO is like, "Done. Let's go. Done." So that was a absolutely fantastic story. I loved it. And I'm just like, oh man. Right. So cool. All right. I've got like a series of snippets and quotes and some notes from several different things. However, I would say probably the number one takeaway for me, and again, I'm looking at it from a specific lens, from leadership and coaching. And so a lot of the stuff that landed for me is on the leadership side. And yet the overwhelming theme and the overwhelming message that I keep hearing above anything else, especially right now in the world of automation, artificial intelligence, and all of these hacks for productivity and how to create and do more with less, is simply this: is that AI isn't about automation. AI needs to be about elevating and elevation the relationship, elevating your relationship by empowering you with the information and idea, steps, and strategies to actually be even more relational and more intentional and authentic with those relationships. So that was the main theme of the conference there. But between Rene Rodriguez, between Jesse Itzler, between, first of all, Will Guardia, the author of Unreasonable Hospitality. Ramil, you read that book, right? Unreasonable. Yeah. His keynote was likely like one of the top 3 keynotes I've ever heard in my entire life, going to conferences for the last 15 years. Like it was outstanding. And I'm really eager and excited to go into his story and into his book. And so some of the quotes that came out to me is this, and it says, so one of my favorites, at the top of my list here, is general ambition gives anxiety. Specific ambition gives us purpose and motivation. The general idea of doing more for the sake of more creates anxiety. Specific ambition, something that's truly grounded in purpose and why, that's fueled by a true mission, gives us purpose and motivation. And then Rene Rodriguez tells us, I don't know, I should have wrote down who said what. So now I'm getting them all confused. So don't quote me on that. there are different roads to get to every destination, every goal that you have. Some of them are surface roads, which are free, and some of them are toll roads. One of them you have to pay to be on, but it gets you faster. The other is free. Everyone takes it, and you could end up in a traffic jam. You could end up in an accident on the way to your destination. You can choose surface and free to get there. It may take you longer. You could get into an accident, and you could be stuck. The toll roads are available for everyone. The challenge is, are you prepared, and are you willing to pay the toll? And can you pay the toll? Right? Are you in a position where you can? And so what is that toll? When we take a look at our goals, when we take a look at what we're going after, so many of us are like, well, I'm just going to do it this way for now. And you might get there. And you may not get stuck in traffic, and you might not get into an accident. However, it absolutely will take you longer, because last time I checked, the surface streets are like 25 to 35 miles an hour, and the highways are like 70 to 80 miles an hour, right? So what are the tolls? The tolls are, all the limiting beliefs in the interference that we talk about in the performance formula, right? Limiting beliefs, mindset, perceived lack of resources, lack of relationships, your unwillingness to face rejection, your unwillingness to put yourself somewhere new, your unwillingness to look like a newbie in this phase of your life or career, your unwillingness to learn a new skill, technology, artificial intelligence, whatever that is, right? Your unwillingness, your ego, your grounded desire to stay sane, right? If we take a look at the challenge of the masses, is that everyone is fighting to be average. Every time that you're not willing to put yourself out there and do something new or different, all you're simply saying is, I'm just dying to be the same as everyone else. And I cannot wait to just be the middle. And that's scary, right? That's scary. Will was talking about, he said, service is what you do. Hospitality is how you make them feel. And the number one way to start building rapport, trust, and relationship is allowing someone to feel seen. Allowing somebody to feel seen. Brian Carruthers, one of the top leadership guys in growing large organizations, was sharing just bombs nonstop. And he was going through some attraction lessons, and I'm going to go back and forth here a little bit as well. He says, when it comes with leadership, step number one with leadership is be someone people want to join. If you go out there in the role of leadership and you look behind you and there's nobody there, you're just on a walk. You're not a leader. Even if you think you are, or you say you are. Everyone starts from scratch. So how do you become a leader or someone that people wants to join? Well, you've got to be reading the right things, getting the right audio, being in the right conferences, being around other leaders, and being somebody people want to follow. Who's someone that people want to follow? Someone who absolutely brings value everywhere they go. Someone who brings people with them. One of the fastest ways to continue to grow your influence as a leader is by developing others into leaders. And the only way that you can do that is by attracting the many to find the few. And so many of us, whether you're running a team, whether you're running a business or an organization, you say to yourself, well, I don't want to have to like hire so many people, or I don't want to have to do this or that. Well, that's, you find the exceptional, like, as the exception of the many, right? Exceptional people are the exception of the many. You can only find exceptional from the many. One of the things he said is, as a leader, as you're growing your people, find ways that you can create things that are free, fear-free and skill-free. Help people take action in the activities that move the needle with the least amount of fear and that take the least amount of skill. So how do you simplify and then tap into value the activities that help build more relationships. So Audra does a really great job with this with the Friend Connect program. Michelle does an incredible job with this with, you know, the For Sale by Owner program. And it's just simply having a reason or a purpose to call someone that gets you excited, because it's all about helping them and making it so easy to do, so automatic to do, that there's no other excuses not to do it. Right? Like there's nothing easier than the 4 steps that the Friend Connect program has you set up for 12 weeks. It's a 4-step process in a very simple spreadsheet that doesn't have formulas. There's no weird login. You don't have to have a certain CRM. All you have to do is sit your ass down and do the work. And that's where we get really creative with how complicated it got. Well, I just, I mean, I haven't divided my list up into 12 yet. That's really complicated. The thing is that it's not complicated. It's the fear piece on the other side. Well, where'd the fear piece come from? The fear piece comes from, have you actually practiced, role played, and identified what are the reasons that you're calling to connect and check in? And that's it. So we overcomplicate the simple to hide our fear. That's all. We hide in the complexities. We overcomplicate it to give ourselves excuses not to do it. So fear-free, skill-free. Make it simple and not scary to do. And then lastly here, this one hit home for me because I have an opportunity to get better here. And he said, take a look at what's available to you. And this is also a double-edged sword. It could be a trap. If your organization has high-level mastermind conversations that are being led by the best of the best in the industry, and they're free and they're offered to you weekly or more, and you're on these calls and you're not you're not on the calls, you're not allowed. And he said, so I'm sharing his quote. This isn't my quote. This isn't Matt talking. I'm sharing what Brian Carruthers said. So if this lands in any specific way, just know I'm passing on the info that also kicked me in the junk. Okay. He says, if you aren't attending your masterminds, how dare you complain or ask the world for more if you aren't even plugging in to be the best? How dare you? How dare you complain? How dare you point fingers if you have the opportunity to be in front of the best, and those bests are incentivized financially and otherwise to continue to help you because of the way that the model is set up, and you're choosing not to take action, you don't get to complain. And I'm like, because there are some things that I could be plugging into that I haven't. And I've made some really creative excuses as to why it's not convenient for me. And I've got this other role I got to do. And I recognize if I'm not plugging in and it's being given to me and it's literally done by the best of the best, I don't get to ask for more until I've tapped in. Besides those notes, I mean, the conference absolutely blew me away. It was one of the best I've ever attended. It was, look, it's never easy. It's never convenient. It's definitely not cheap. Every single time when it comes up and it's time to register and it's time to set the flights and it's time to get to the hotel, I'm like, man, I could absolutely be doing something else. I could be back at home. I could get another deal, etc. But like this you're a conversation or a relationship away from a different life. And not a different year, not a different quarter. You are a conversation or a relationship away from a completely different life. You get to choose. Ahas, takeaways. What'd you hear? What resonated? I know we're at time.
My question is, I know you said the last thing you said, right? If you're not tapping into the things that are available to you, but you said it can also be a trap. I I guess I'm saying, in what ways do you think it could be a trap?
When someone says, well, I haven't done it yet because I haven't learned it all yet. Like when you use the education as the excuse as to why you haven't taken action. When you're like, I can't lead generate because I got this class, or I got this thing, or I can't go out on appointments because I got to do this thing, or whatever it is, or you keep delaying taking action because the last step wasn't revealed to you, but you only needed step 1 to start, but you're so committed to step 47 before you can even press go. Like there's so many people that are completely frozen if the entire path, map, plan, like color palette, font, package, email sequence isn't fully fleshed out before they go up, like before they press go. So that's where it can become a trap. The key: attend, implement, attend, implement. One thing at a time. And just keep adjusting and changing your life one decision, one adjustment, one thing at a time. And you adjust one thing at a time all the time, and that the compounding effect of these small adjustments over time is massive. Massive. The Grand Canyon was carved 1 grain at a time. 1 grain at a time. That's it. Anyone else? Great question, Ruben.
We need a mic drop emoji. When you drop those bombs, yeah.
Anyways, I'm sharing the stuff that just hit me in the chest like nonstop. Like I'm like, okay. So now I'm coming back and I'm like, I'm getting back to the table, reevaluating, taking a look at my calendar, my schedule, and I'm asking myself, am I optimizing myself for opportunity, or am I hiding through busyness? Am I filling up my calendar with just stuff that's like not true productivity, but it's just kind of like I get to show my calendar and it's full to impress people that are doing less. But like if you take a look at the people that are operating at the highest level, their calendar isn't packed with ridiculousness. They've got really key specific things that move their world forward. In fact, the people at the highest level, the biggest flex is gray space because they've created leverage in their world. How do you get there? You gotta execute. You gotta execute the shit that you don't want to do. Just plain and simple. Like get good at dog food. Right? Get good at dog food. All right, y'all. We're a little over time. I appreciate you. Peggy, raise your hand. Yeah, Peggy.
Sorry, I was trying to get to it. I just wanted to real quick say that, I mean, there was a couple of things that really hit me. Was I really like the service is what you do. Hospitality is how you make them feel, how you make somebody feel. I mean, that really hit home, and it's so true. But there's so much good information that you just got to hear. I tried to get it all down. Didn't do a very good job, but
we'll do our best to get the recording up on the YouTube channel as quickly as possible, and then you can always go to it or even share it. Like if you here's a tip. You can say, hey, I was just on a national mastermind call where some of our leaders went to one of the best conferences in the country, and they shared some of their best tips and highlights from 3 of the biggest keynote speakers on the planet. Would you like to listen?
Mm-hmm.
Share
cool.
the link. And
there
then
you go.
Go back up. Let's grab a cup of coffee. I want to hear what was most exciting about that call. Cool. This is the process.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. All right, Jokers, time to get after it. Have an amazing weekend. Go crush. We'll see you on Monday. Same time, same channel.
Peace.
Later.